Hi, I'm Tim from Inside BJJ. We are sitting at a secret location. It is the location of the PGF Season 6 draft. It's my castle. It's kind of hard to get around the fact that we're in a castle filming for this. No, it really is. It's actually a really cool thing to see. And it's kind of mind blowing to actually walk in here and see it and go the draft is going to take place in here. Like you're going to stand up in here and they're going to draft you. How does that feel for you? Like just kind of coming in. This is unlike any competition you've done before. It has to be, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be super cool. It's gonna be a really good setting. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to be a part of something that is actually getting to be close to like the stuff I've seen with like I don't know, Ultimate Fighter or some of these other shows I've watched. So
What do you think of my castle?
It's really nice.
It's very
It's
nice.
very nice. Thank you for, letting us do this.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to build a church and then I changed my mind. Like, you know what?
Right, yeah.
Let's build a mansion. So I'm really excited for you guys. Well, you guys are laughing, man.
You just he just hits on some dry
I want to ask you, Zoe, what got you interested in the PGF in the first place? You are a partner in it. Obviously, you have a big influence. You're a big factor to it. You draw a lot of eyeballs to it. What was it about the PGF that attracted you to it to the point to where you actually wanted to be involved, not just a fan, but you wanted to actually be part of it?
I mean, I saw my share of competitions, and still to this day I compete. I started when I was about 11 competing, and the format of competition is pretty general. So we all done this, so we know what that means. And this was the first time when I saw a league format, right? And I was invited originally as a team captain for season 5. Brandon invited me, and I don't know what he was thinking, but I went out to Alabama, and pretty much day one. Actually, since this is a location for draft, right? The draft was immediately the first thing that I was like, wow, this is different. This is entertainment, and this is something that will probably pull people into this who are not involved in jiu-jitsu, because it was super entertaining. As a team captain, was trying to bid for the fighters, outbid each other. The fireworks started right there, right?
Right away.
And I figured like this is already jiu-jitsu. This is already a chess game. This is already who we get. I'm trying to steal the other coach's fighter, and all this kind of built into something where I was asking Brandon, what are you gonna do with this? Where are you going with this? Because I think this is much bigger. It can be much bigger than just a regular regional competition. This can be a massive thing that will probably recruit a lot of people for this. So that was basically the idea, where they already had 5 seasons, 4 at that point, and they figured out the kinks. They figured out how it's going to run smoothly. And I thought, if I engage my network, my resources, then we can really do something that's worldwide, something that's going to be a Premier League.
What were you expecting when you got on the plane and headed to Alabama? Did you have any, at any point mid-flight, did you think, maybe we can turn this plane around?
Yeah, I mean, I almost didn't make it to the airport. My partner in Epic Roll, Epic Roll was one of the sponsors. My partner in Epic Roll, Matt, called me that, hey, I knew Brandon already, and he called me like, hey, we could go and do this, and this could be interesting. And I have no problem with Alabama, but it's kind of outside of the
It's kind of Alabama.
I maybe played shows there, so it's not, but it's just kind of outside of the route I usually take. And also a small town, and like, well, do I have 4 or 5 days to be there? And it is jiu-jitsu, and we were already friends, and okay, let's see what happens. A day before, I did think about it, like, what kind of excuse I can come up with.
Oh, wait.
Sorry. Well, here's the thing. It's not that it's Alabama. Like actually, there's nothing wrong with Alabama. It's about the 3 flights I had to take. There's no deal. Yeah, to get there. So I'm like, man, that's gonna be a, you know. But I'm really happy that I did. Because we arrived and it was pretty much day one, and I was like, wow, actually, I'm really glad.
Was that the first time you guys met in person?
No, we already knew each other.
So you already had met in person.
Yeah, so we had this little Epic tribe. So Epic Roll is a brand that we have a lot of guys that huddle together. So it's pretty high level jiu-jitsu guys hang out together, we roll together, we train together, travel the world, and that's where we met originally.
What was your first impressions though, Brandon?
Well, you know, it's funny, dude, is I don't know anything about heavy metal music. And so I didn't really understand what I was walking into. You know what I mean? So man's like, yeah, one of my partners from Epic Roll is a musician. He's like a professional musician. I was like, oh, all right, dude.
Did you say I'm a musician?
Dude, I can play Wonderful Tonight. If you're gonna do that. So I didn't really understand the scale of musician we were doing. And then he was like, come out and hang out with us. We're going to do a photo shoot for Epic Roll. And it was in California. And what was it like? What's the name of that beach, that fancy beach y'all got out there?
The fancy beach.
Is it Hermosa or
Redondo Beach? Good, Redondo Beach, right?
I don't know what's what, but it's one of the fancy California beaches.
Right.
And so we went out there, and that's where I first got to hang out with him. And so in the context, it was like him, and then there was a dude from another rock band was there, Mike from Nickelback was there, and then
Harvey.
yeah,
Harley for
Mac.
Mac.
So it was a bunch of musicians that also do jiu-jitsu. And anyway, it was cool. Like 19-year-old me would have freaked out, dude. Like, because all I wanted to do was be a rock.
Of course, right?
And now I'm just a jiu-jitsu dork. So I was just kind of introduced to everybody as, oh, he's a black belt. Oh, he does jiu-jitsu. Oh, cool, he's one of the dudes. And so, you know, just get hands in. No big deal.
Yeah. How interesting is it that you have something that obviously you have a very established career in, very well known, very, prolific in one regard, but you also have another thing that you're very passionate about, that you're very interested in, that you build relationships with people who may or may not even have an idea who you are outside of that. Does that ever factor into your relationships in jiu-jitsu?
I mean, yeah, of course, a lot of people know. So it's one of those things where eventually find that, right? So, of course, it factors. It factors in when I compete. I have to pay, I have to make sure that my hands are surviving.
Like people coming after you.
No.
They're like doing it.
I mean, like it's right.
Break it, Johnny.
Never happened. It never happened. It's pretty respectful.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, I still compete and I never had a problem. In fact, I'm friends with most of the people that I ever competed against, and that's a long road, And I'm one of the guys. When you walk into that tournament, when you walk into that academy, it doesn't matter who you are. It's jiu-jitsu. It's a brotherhood. It doesn't matter what walk of life. Nobody cares that you're a doctor or a musician or whatever. We are here to do this now, and we are relating to each other in this particular situation. So it's just the thing I do,
Yeah, there's something about the jiu-jitsu mats that is a great equalizer when people come into it. It's like, it doesn't matter what your last name is. It doesn't matter, what your background is, who your parents were, what you did or didn't do. It mostly matters like what you can do on the mat and how you do it. Can you talk about, Ben, your experience like coming up in 10th Planet and then going from somebody who's training jiu-jitsu to somebody who's competing to somebody who's like a jiu-jitsu athlete?
Yeah. I mean, at first it was just a hobby for me. And I did find that, like you're talking about, the atmosphere there that felt like a brotherhood. But I felt that growing up with wrestling, so I experienced that a little bit. And so, I was happy to find that again with jiu-jitsu. It's a, unique brotherhood that happens by us being able to, I think, share through a language that's not word based, you know. Yeah, we're able to get past words and see each other in ways that are past labels, and have that shared space. Yeah, and you're learning so much that's like physical and about your body, and it's like real in such a certain sense. You're, it's like you're in this very subjective. We all have these subjectiveness, and then we come into this very objective place, and we see each other subjectively around that objective thing that we get to share.
You know, it's funny. Like I think I understand what you're saying in that there's very much like truth and honesty on the mats in the sense that you come and you train and it's
Yeah.
going to be very obvious if you're doing it right or not. You're
The
constantly
objectiveness of it, we get to
Yeah.
share. Like we can look at it and just like talk like, oh no, I think that's right or that's right, and then because we're sharing, if there is an objective truth there, we can actually hash that out.
Yeah.
But then we can meet each other with how far we made it in that process and know that we've experienced that to get there.
At what point in your grappling experience did you decide that, or did you choose to, or have you even chose to? Because, you know, I don't know everyone's exact intention, but at what point did you decide that you wanted to do this as a competitor and actually make a go of it? Because it doesn't pay a lot historically,
Yeah,
right? Most jiu-jitsu guys are like busted out broke.
yeah,
It's a tricky game to play.
yeah, yeah. It didn't happen for a long time for me. At first, I just thought I was going to be doing it as a hobby, a way to stay in shape, something on the side. Um, it happened after UBI won, like when Eddie invited me to compete in UBI one, and I felt that and was able to do, you know, kind of what I did. And then I had the opportunity with Gio to train full time. And yeah, I just kind of looked at it and thought, like, you know, I only have a unique short amount of time if I actually wanted to pursue something competitively. So let's just put this other stuff more on the back burner and put this on the front. I've always been interested in wanting to feel what you learn by trying to get to the highest level in competition and push your body to that. So yeah, I just started taking the front seat. Because we are at a very unique point in jiu-jitsu, and I saw that this no gi was just starting to branch out, and I was with the guy who was like creating that, who was like making that happen. I was in the EBI one, just kind of seeing that little window of like, actually, you have something unique here. You should go with this. Yeah.
Going from that mindset, like, hey, there's something here, there's an opportunity, I should bust through the door, to I'm sitting in a castle right now talking about being drafted, right? And it's not Joe Schmo off the street that's going to be like, I'll take Ben Eddy. It's Rigan Machado,
Yeah.
Eddie Bravo, Roger Gracie,
Yeah.
Andre Galval, right? It's not like any of those guys. If any of those guys pick you, you got to feel good about yourself. You're not going to be like, oh, I guess I'm dog meat. Like Rigan got me or Eddie got me. You know, like
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's like what was EBI one? It's like 12 years ago or something. But yeah, 12 years now. It's like we're here, and yeah, it's gonna be great. It's like it's a whole nother level. Uh, and I've now made we can make a living from it. Before I was living in the garage and eating, you know, just rice and potatoes, and um, now I can actually make a living from the sport. Not even owning my own gym. I just work at the gym and compete, and I can actually make a living like that. And this sport, like competitions like this, is gonna make that even way more viable. So it's massive.
How big of a help is it when you talk about making a living between like being able to actually work in the gym where you train, right? Versus like I gotta go down to Winchell's down the street and like serve coffee or something, right? Like it's work, but like you're in the gym working, right? You're still kind of like training him.
No, it's beautiful for me. I would if I didn't even have to make an income, I would still be doing that. Just because the practice of coaching is, you take so much away from coaching. you level up so much from coaching and giving to others. So I would still spend just as much of my time coaching and being in those positions, even if I had more money or didn't need that money.
Out of curiosity, what kinds of other jobs did you do in the past?
I've been fortunate in the sense of that I've actually always worked for myself. Like when I went to San Francisco,
Entrepreneur.
I was already working online.
Nice.
So I've always, I mean, growing up, I worked odd jobs here and there, doing the mowing lawn type, outside work, everything. But
Yeah.
I never actually worked I've never actually worked a wage job or.
You don't strike me as a wage job guy. Just first impression, like you're not getting up at 7 on Monday morning to go to the cube and work all day. Well, I mean, you're sitting in a castle right now, so obviously it's working out, right?
Yeah.
How cool is it for you, Brandon, to go from being a dude in Decatur, right, that just has these dreams and these ideas, and a girl with a pen just to like pop those ideas as they come out because they're so ridiculous, to be sitting in a castle talking about running the draft for PGF season 6. It's not that far away.
Yeah, so in one sense, it feels like it can't really be real. Like I don't gonna feel like I'm gonna wake up from it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, I just made that up.
Yeah.
The simulation.
In another sense, though, of course, like nobody ever became the world champion without setting his mind on becoming the world champion. So it's not an accident that we're here either. So we set out to do something like this, and I feel like really, honestly, this is just like chapter 2 of the PGF. I feel like we've got a lot left to write, so I don't feel like we've made it. I feel like we've begun now.
How much support does it take from the people back home to actually pull this off?
A lot. It's really all of it till this point. It's just been run by me and Keelan and the love and support of the people around us. Because we sure weren't running it with a lot of budget. We're just running it with hustle and sleeping on couches and, you know, just trying to do something cool. Because it's a week-long event, dude. It's not like we're putting on a one-night party.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not. And there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of logistics. I got to house athletes for a week.
You gotta buy toilet paper. A bunch of dudes, like you do it, right? You gotta feed these guys.
You got to manage a bunch of personalities. And so I've had to definitely learn to be more, like to work on my strengths over the years and try to become more organized.
What are your strengths? What would you say your top 3 strengths are?
I think I'm a good communicator. I think I'm good at helping to build a culture where everybody's working on what they want to work on so that they'll work as hard as possible. Because I really believe that you have to be super excited to do anything great, because you have to be willing to put in work after everybody else quit working. And the only way you're going to do that for a long time is that you got to just be madly in love with it so much that you'll put in extra time. And it don't feel like work. It feels like exactly what he said. I would be paid to be here doing this thing. And that's why he's in the position he's in, because he would be paid.
What else do you say?
Huh?
That's only one. I need 2 more.
2 more strengths. I feel like I'm a good communicator. I feel like I make a good, help lead a good culture. And I don't know. I think I only have 2.
Yeah, just 2. We'll work on the 3rd.
Yeah.
What do you think sets the PGF apart? In terms of, there's so many jiu-jitsu tournaments, there's so many big ones, there's little ones, there's odd ones, there's people doing novelty things. What really makes the PGF different than the rest of the promotions that are out there right now?
So it's a combination of things for sure. And actually the right combination of things. The rule set that they created to begin with is basically encouraging a faster paced gentlemanly violence that is needed. It's also, generally we all know what we're looking for when we watch a jiu-jitsu, tournament, and two guys are fighting. Maybe they moving really slow, inch by inch. We all know what's happening. The general public doesn't, right? And so you kind of have to speed up the pace. That it's entertaining not just for us, but it's for everyone else. So that was one of the first thing immediately, that they changed the rules. There's a shorter period of time, submission only, no positional points. So, and they reward the chokes versus the breaks or joint locks, basically. And that, especially in no-gi jiu-jitsu, we see that everybody's looking for, and that's just a common that. So it kind of encourages a different kind of attack that will be more visually entertaining. And so that's just the rule set itself already changing the pace, changing how it looks like, and it changing how regular people, the civilians, so to speak, will relate to this. It's going to be entertaining to them. Then the second is the team aspect. Like jiu-jitsu is already a brotherhood as is, but now looking at these teams that they drafted, and I think it was important, and that was one of the things I kind of was attracted to. It wasn't that you pit existing teams against each other. So it wasn't, Atos versus Gracie Baja versus 10th Planet versus,
Sure.
because,
Yeah.
I felt like if that was the case, it's cool, but I don't think I would have been interested.
That's kind of the instinct to do it that way, though.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I also feel like now you're creating rivalry, and that's not necessarily a rivalry in a way that it's a group rivalry. And I feel like that's not in the spirit of jiu-jitsu, at least not for me.
And it's already been done.
Right. And
Yeah.
and so I figured that because of the draft, you're gonna end up with a team from various schools, right? So now this is not a team thing. This is these individuals became a team, and now they have to figure out in 4 days how to work together, and they fight for a team. So I thought that added an extra layer, an extra spirit to this, that you are now responsible not just for your fight, but the other guys, because the other 4 guys might lose this if you're lazy. So if you decided that, well, I don't know, I don't have it. There's the moment in a fight maybe that you're willing to give up. Now it's gonna be much harder because there are 4 more guys looking at you like, hey man, you're gonna prevent us from being a winning team and get the grand prize. So I thought that added an extra layer. So the combination of these actually start to make sense. It's an actual league now, right? And it has that fantasy football kind of vibe to it, right? And the involvement of the coaches and how they sort of set it up from the beginning, as I was just saying before, that it's already sort of a chess game how you assemble a team, because you can grab the best guy meaning in your mind this is the best guy, right? And you start bidding for that guy, and you might spend all your coins, your PGF coins or PGF dollars on that one fighter, but now you're not in a fight for the other 4. So you might have the best guy in quotes on in the roster, but the other 4, if they don't win fights, this best guy cannot carry the team to victory.
Sure.
So you have to think about that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm better off with the second and third best, maybe the 4th best guy on the same team, right? So I really like that it was already kind of jiu-jitsu, like a verbal mental jiu-jitsu before this even started. I thought that was cool. And now the sum total of this is that, okay, this is a league now. This is the first jiu-jitsu league. It adds an extra layer of camaraderie, and it's going to be faster, more entertaining. And I don't want to keep using the word violent, but that's why I said gentlemanly violent, because we're still friends,
Right.
we still we respect each other. But man, I saw bodies flying around, and
Yeah.
you have 6 minutes to conclude that. It was really, really cool, and I thought, okay, this is different. We need to glue some wings on this. We need to move this to Vegas. Let's put this in front of the world. It can't just stay in Alabama. You can't just keep it for your people.
Yeah.
We have to bring it to the world.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's what it is.
Ben, how much does it change for you, the fact that you're on a team? Does it even matter at all?
Yeah, I think it changes a decent amount. Yeah, I think it does tie us together in a way. We want to win the money. for our team. I can't win the money if my team doesn't win it for me. So, or at least help me along the way. So we need to be a team. We need to strategize together. We need to get this thing done so we can win that 100K. Yeah, it immediately ties that group, whatever they were, like he's saying, together, and we got to figure this out and get it done so we can get that prize.
Is there a priority for you to make it to the playoffs ahead of winning the team championship, or does the team championship come first and then the playoffs come secondary? Or are you going to try to manage both? Because that's a real tricky balance for you as a competitor to try to figure out.
Yeah, I think you set the making it to the tournament first. You know, you do as much as you can with your effort. But then on top of that, you try and do what you can to bring the team together and to talk them into just kind of seeing what each of your guys might need, or what, you know, you give a certain percentage of your energy towards the team, but you save most of it for this is ultimately my entry here, and I'm trying to do as good as I can and get into the tournament.
The fact that the scoring system favors chokes over breaks, does that change the way you prepare for this? Or are you going into it with the mindset of, I'm taking the win as it comes? Or are you specifically going, I'm looking for chokes, I want to rack up those points, and I want to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, it's the difference of the points for the choke matters a lot. So yeah, I'm going to be prioritizing leading up to looking for choke submissions. It seems to be a big difference. They made the new rule where if in the first minute you get the submission, you get an extra point, and now it's so then 4 versus 6, so it's not as big of a difference as it used to be. But yeah, it seems to be a big difference to get that 6 points, and I already kind of specialize in chokes anyway over joint locks. So, but I think I will be focusing on chokes because of that.
Can it make it more difficult defensively for you though? Because you have a very unique style of chokes that draws a lot of attention. Because it's cool looking, it's mysterious, and honestly, it's hard for most people to do. They can't pull it off. They're trying. They're like, "God, get him, Dylan, this motherfucker." Right? But how hard is it coming into a situation where there's all these other professionals who know that that's what you're really good at? Does that make it even that much harder to pull it off?
I think it usually would, but not in this format, because these are the best formats for me, I think, because I get to slide into the cracks in a way. In a tournament, you know, it's yeah, I'm there, but also are all these other guys, you know, so they're not going to think as much about me versus like if you're going against me in a super fight, then you're going to really prepare. You're going to really know you only got me in that super fight. But when it's a tournament like this, there's going to be 20 other names that are just as good. So I get to seep into the cracks a little bit there. Plus, we're also both looking for submissions. We have to get a submission to score. So they're going to have to like leave one line. So they can't really hide too much.
Flipping that around, is there anybody in the bracket that you have your eyes on? You don't necessarily have to give their names. That would be awesome if you did. But are there people that you're like, oh yeah, I'm watching this guy and I'm watching that guy?
I think there's fun matchups that
Fun matchups. I like that. It'll be fun.
that's how it is for me. Different people have their different reasons, but I think there will be fun matchups that I might not be able to get in other ways, or matchups I've been looking for to have again. Like to have a match with Kieran Kachuk again would be really cool. I had a match with him in combat jiu-jitsu, and not a whole lot happened in that match. I think because of how it was, I knew we just need to cancel each other out. Whereas this matchup, because of the format, it'll be the opposite. We'll both be going after it. So that will be fun. Like Hanato Kanuto, I wouldn't even think I'd ever get a match with him. So having a matchup with him will be very interesting because stylistically we're so different and all over the place. They said possibly Mika might be in there. If Mika ends up in there, that would be crazy. There are a lot of like 10 to 5 guys in there, and which is fine. We go against each other when we have to, but I don't necessarily like look forward to those matches, I would say. But yeah, there's a lot of really interesting matches I would only hope for in this potential.
So obviously Elijah Carlton has a big personality. He has already called out the whole crew of competitors for being dunkable, as he put it. You guys are all dunkable. So when you hear somebody go, "You're dunkable, dude," like basically he's saying he's gonna dunk on you. How does that make you feel as a competitor and as an athlete and as a man going out there to face this dude? Like, would you like to shut him up?
I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, it's nice. That's cool. But I don't know. Elijah's good, but he still needs to like beat a few real names. Yeah, I think this level of this season is going to be much higher than even any of the guys he's gone against. The last time he went against Davis, he lost. I think Elijah's very good in a tough matchup, but these guys, this is all like really high level guys. So Elijah is amongst the names I would say of people that I'm most worried about. He wouldn't be one of them.
As a former coach, right? You coached season 5. How important is it to you as a coach to get out there and like you want your guys to win, but like, how bad do you want them to win?
Right. The first day is one of the most important days, right? Because you guys gonna do what you do, what you're good at, right? So as a coach, especially because you recruited your team, I don't train with these guys, right? So I can't really yell instructions other than the obvious, right? I don't really know what you're gonna do because you have your style. But assembling the team, I mean, a little secret how we did it. We basically, my team, Epic Roll, when we were the coaches, we got the roster and we just threw it into AI and then started to look at stats and basically asked an AI to assemble the team for us that's the most likely to win.
Really?
Looking at the stats, that was a little secret. Right? And so we kind of knew who we have to get and what are the chances of this team to win. And we got 4 of the 5 guys that we wanted in the auction. Right? So that's how this was. So the coaches are important to understand, the styles of the game. They have to understand the system to assemble the right team. As we were just talking about, like getting the best of the best guys. If you think this is the best guy, doesn't mean you're gonna win. It has to be the right combination. Also, there are other things that you can do. You can look at the guys that are dangerous to each other. So, for example, if I put people on my team that I know that they don't have to fight each other, because these 2 are on my team now. They might meet in the final, but right now, because I put them on the team, they don't have to fight my guys. They have to fight other guys. So that's that's part of the equation. That you can also protect fighters. It's like, okay, I know that I get you, but there's a guy that's dangerous to his style. If I put the same guy in the same team, right? And I have 2 assassins going out there, but they're never gonna meet until the finals, right? So there's that. And who would know the game better than these 4? And also, these 4 coaches are representing 4 lines of jiu-jitsu, like there's Atos, there's Planet, the Gracie lineage, and the Machado lineage. So it's not just that these guys are legend, but also they represent a very specific avenue within jiu-jitsu. So it's a little bit even bigger than that. And the way we got it, we have a secret weapon. We have one more partner in there.
That's actually the real answer.
So one of our partners had a Gracie, and she's a Gracie. So the first thing was he's very close with Roger and say, hey, I need you to do this. And then she's also very close to Rigan. So we have, but that's the point. Like we assembled the first draft is us. We drafted the right team. Like we have to
Sure. Right.
So
Did you guys use AI to figure that out?
no, that was I could actually figure that out. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, your name. Yeah, a bunch. Can you name the other guys in the data set that you put in? It's you, but
I run them. Like, okay, Keelan and Brandon. Let's see how this. Yeah, they winners. I mean, like that's the thing. Like, I saw them doing this in Alabama. So the love that they had for jiu-jitsu, from my perspective, the love that they had for the sport, and then I saw how they ran the tournament. Right? I saw how everybody was relating to them. Right. So all those human elements do matter. I watched those things that they were really loved by the guys, the competitors, and you know it was ran like a really tight ship. So I could see like every detail was figured out. They were super professionals, right? That was one of the thing. Another thing, like while they were doing this, I don't want to say small tournament because this, yeah, maybe a little scene is small, but the big three can grow out of this, right? So it was a regional tournament that was ran super tight, and while it was small, I could tell that the dream was big. And to me, that's how I look at winners. Like, you dare to dream that this can be the biggest tournament in the world. I'm interested to be partners with you because you dare to dream that. My career happened that way too. Like, I had a dream that everybody laughed. I'm like, oh, that's not possible. Watch me go.
I'm gonna be a rock star and have a castle.
Yeah, that's what it is. I grew up in a communist country. Right? I grew up in a communist country that you make $100 a month. We didn't have passports, so I couldn't get out of the country.
And I feel bad for
I didn't speak English. I came here with not speaking English, a bag of clothes and a guitar. So people would say that this is not possible, what you're trying to do. So I related to them immediately.
Yeah.
Like, you guys trying to do something that is seemingly impossible, but you have no doubt that you can do. That's winning team. That was my trigger. Like, okay, they're the right guys. Yeah,
How much pressure do you feel, Brandon, to pull this off? What I mean is this: is you can go, coach, put me in the game. Coach, put me in the game. Coach, put me in the game. And then coach goes, Brandon, you're in the game. You got to step up to the big at bat. You've taken plenty of at bats, but this is big. This is a big one.
Yeah. I feel like it's killing season, dude. I'm ready to go. I started losing weight. I started getting in shape.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm down to like 165 pounds. I was getting a little,
Fighting trail.
looking like I was built for comfort, not speed. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, I have like this really monumental task in front of me, and it's going to require 100% of my discipline. And so that's why I started like, okay, it's time to clean the diet up. It's time to get going. And yeah, I feel like I think I'm the right man for the job, to be honest with you. Because I have a long track record with myself of doing the best work that I know how to do. I believe in myself that I will do my absolute best. Now, I may not do what everybody else thinks I'm capable of doing, or or what I think I'm capable of doing, but I can guarantee I will try as hard as I can, and I'll continue to get better over time. So, and I got a long track record with myself of trying to treat people the right way and make sure that everybody feels like they can win when they play ball with us. So, yeah, I don't feel pressure. I feel like I'm going to crush it.
Ben, what's your general impression of Brandon?
God, don't answer that, dude.
Just exactly like what he's saying. He's very determined, and yeah, when he sets his mind on stuff, he gets it done. That's what I've seen. That's I figured he was gonna make it with PGF. I figured right when he started doing stuff with it that he was doing something different, and I could see that he was dedicated to it, and I thought he was going to figure it out, just the way he was talking about it, just the way he was bringing it about. I knew it was going to take a little bit of time to bake, but I thought he was going to figure it out. Didn't it?
How important is it to you? trying to figure out the way to articulate this, but how important is it to you that the promotion or the people running the promotion that you're working for are good people?
Yeah, that's a really big deal. It's sometimes you just go with who's paying the bills. But it's amazing when it's actually your people, your community, guys you know. And granted, he's my teammate, we're from the same team, so it's awesome. It just gives you a good feeling because you just know that we're all winning here, which is a really cool aspect about this jiu-jitsu and how it is like really starting to, tick up, and we're making that turn. It's our guys within the sport that are also making that turn. So we're all just winning together, whether we're the competitor or the one throwing on the event. Yeah, it's just we're watching all of us really rise in whatever positions we're at. So it's really cool.
How interesting is it to be part of a martial art that's also a sport that is you are literally experiencing the turn to professionalism, like the birth of something that hasn't necessarily existed in this form as we know it. And it's happening right now. Like you're part of it. How does that feel?
You go first.
It's
You start with
it's weird because it's not just the PGF, right? Like we're doing what we're doing, so obviously we're super connected to
Sure.
what we're doing. But I'm running commentary gigs at pretty much every major promotion in the sport. I'm going to ADCC. I'm going to ADCC West Coast Trials. I'm at IEGA in Kazakhstan. I'm at Combat Jiu-Jitsu in Mexico City, and I'm at Subversive in California. So I'm right there in the mix, like watching. I felt for a while like there's this documentary being filmed around me. Not like with me as the center, but like I'm standing in the middle of every shot in the documentary. I feel like sometimes, and I'm watching guys slowly figure out how to do this and slowly figure out how to carve out a career out of it. And then the promoters are getting a little bit better each time, the ones that can stay in business. And then the gear companies are getting a little bit better at running a business. It's now there's a little bit higher level of income that's getting interested in trying jiu-jitsu. And so just all these little things happening, and you hear little whispers about this guy got to deal with this. And then I'll be in Kazakhstan and hear about this. So I know that there's money starting to come in to the sport, and sitting in the middle of it and watching it all go down, it's been wild. And then to like feel like, well, we have the only like league within that feels really wild. I mean, hanging out in a castle is pretty weird for a dude from Alabama.
Bro, yeah, man. It is.
I had to start wearing sunglasses every time because I just kept finding myself in a castle. I was like, what else am I supposed to do?
I mean, the people in the room, people behind the camera, there's people that have been working in jiu-jitsu behind the scenes for over a decade. Just passionate about it, doing it, not necessarily making a bunch of money out of it, just doing it because we loved it. And now it's at a point to where, like you say, like I know we're saying it a lot, but it's kind of wild. Like we're sitting in this location talking about jiu-jitsu here, which is it's like, damn, man, this is a pretty neat thing that's actually happening, and I'm grateful to be part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's the prize does matter. That was one of our conversations where this thing needs to have a prize. This thing needs to be there has to be higher stakes.
Right.
And we kind of joked about it, like, man, the community will love us, but the other promoters will not, because they're gonna be forced to.
Let's talk about that.
They're gonna be forced to also put out the money in, and that's gonna change everything. So it's not just we are doing it, and it enables us to really get attention and bring the guys and start something real, that there's an avenue here to be professional, because we take it very seriously and we all compete, but you become a professional when you actually make a living off of it. You like it or not, that's what professional means.
Sure, right.
That, like you're not professional, not that you're not taking it seriously, or not that you're not skilled enough. Yes, you are, but you're not living from this. That,
Right.
and we wanted to get that. We wanted to build a bridge to that. We wanted to basically create an avenue for that, and we talk about this, that this will spread. This will definitely ignite something, and it's cool to be like the pioneers of that and really make a difference. And it's both for the love of the community that we are all part of, and every one of us here are martial artists and doing it for decades. And so we all know what that means. It's really truly a brotherhood. I can go to any country in this world and the guys are waiting for me in the airport. Like, hey, let's go train. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I just flew 17 hours. Let me take a shower first. It's that community. And personally, I always looked at it like, look, I was a martial artist first before I became a musician. And I always thought that martial arts and how martial arts rewires your mind and your mindset changes, you become a different person. It's not something you do, that most sports are something you do. This is something you become. You become a martial artist. You think differently. You approach problems like it's not a problem, it's not an obstacle, it's a challenge. And the challenge, bigger the challenge is, aren't we like that? You mentioning the biggest names, you're like, oh yeah, let me get in there, right? Because that's how we think. The bigger the challenges, we want to do it. Easy stuff that is not interesting to us. That's one of the things here.
Sure.
It's the spirit of this, right? And so that martial arts kind of paved the path for me, because I changed. I started at 9 years old, so I changed and became a person who could achieve what I achieved. I don't think I could have done that if I wasn't a martial artist. So I owe this to the martial arts community. I owe this to martial arts itself. And I think it's not just because I love this community, but also I think this world needs people with a spine. It needs people that will stand up for the right things. And so I feel like there's a cultural change also gonna happen the more popular martial arts are, right? We're going closer and closer to a world where everything is run by machines and people are getting lazier and honestly dumber, because your knowledge is so fragmented now. Nobody can actually build a thing. Everybody knows a low piece,
Yeah, right.
And I feel like, for us, humanity is on some aspects is falling apart, right? And I think martial art is a cornerstone of something that can actually rebuild that, or at least change it back.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it should
Sure.
be, So I felt personally that, okay, I think I can add to this equation something important. And on my own, I would have never started this. But I saw two guys that they were, right? And they were doing it the right way. And immediately we became, first day, like we were friends immediately.
Yeah.
Like, you just know, okay.
He's kind of like that.
See what I mean? You just know that. And I'm like, okay, this is a team that I'll sign up. This is the legion that I can sign up to, and let's go and let's move this mountain, let's make a change.
I know season 6 still has to take place. What's after season 6?
Oh, I think you know. Season 7.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Let me ask you this. When do we go from 6 figures to 7 figures?
It will happen. I believe it will happen. That's kind of the idea. This is actually another thing to talk about, like, right? Because we talked about already how the rule set changes the behavior. And that behavior and how the space of the tournament, I think it will be interesting enough to civilians, right? There is this fantasy league aspect of this. There's a little bit of not that it's a reality show, but because it isn't, but but there is a part of when your life and everybody's competing, their lives
Yeah.
and where they come from. All these stories are interesting, right? These are all interesting people, and and then you throw them into
Yeah.
this melting pot, and let's see what happens.
We need
right?
this to work.
Right?
Yeah. Listen, man, we want this shit to work.
So it's interesting where it's gonna go. You just put all these people in, and I think it's gonna be interesting enough for the people that we will recruit a much bigger audience, And obviously, when there is attention, when the audience is bigger and bigger, that will allow us to push this, to elevate the price, to higher the stakes. I think actually, I don't think it's gonna take that long. I don't think it's gonna take too long to get there. When you can say, okay, it's gonna be $1 million.
Less than 10 years.
Wait,
Oh,
definitely.
Less than 5.
Less than 5.
I was thinking 5 was like we took too long, but I can see 5.
5 years.
Right.
That's not bad at all.
I think that's super doable.
How does that sound to you?
That sounds great.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of hamburger.
5 years.
He's like, that's a lot of
I
hamburger.
was
beef.
wrong.
Well, give me some cows. How important is it to you to be able to provide that opportunity to jiu-jitsu players to actually be able to make plans and go like, this is what I'm going to do for 2024. I'm working for the PGF. I'm competing in this season. I don't have to hope that a tournament pops up that I can go make, $12,000 in this weekend if it runs well.
Right. Obviously, the idea is that we are in a situation where we can do this for a long time, right? And as I said before, I'm in that position now that I can pay it forward, right? I could jump into this and say, I can guarantee this, right? And as I said, I owe this in some way to martial arts, and this is my community, and in some ways also legacy, right? I missed that time when you guys are competing now. You guys are the top of this game, right? I'm a generation before that, when it wasn't like this. When I started to look at jiu-jitsu, man, I mean, if you saw a purple belt, that was like, oh my God,
Oh my God, everyone in the room, be careful.
right? So that was the generation. Like you rarely ran across something like that. That was like the holy grail.
Sure.
And now jiu-jitsu exploded. It's one of the, if not the fastest growing sport in the world. And the reason that really happened because we counted from, let's say, 93, like when the first UFC kind of started, right? And everybody was just looking at it like, who's this Roger Gracie guy?
Yeah.
How the hell is he doing that? And then you see like he's beating Akibone.
I thought he was using a rope.
Right, everybody's
Yeah.
like, what is this jiu-jitsu thing, right? So the OG started then. The people who started were like, oh, I'm doing this, right? And then they became black belts early 2000, right? And then they branched out and they generated black belts. So by 2010, black belts doubled. And now we are like the first generation of black belts. My academy has like, I don't know, 68 black belts.
Wow.
Right. And so now that this is available publicly, you can go and train, and you're going to get high level, real serious jiu-jitsu, which before you had to travel across the world to get, right? So this is now a different story. So I missed that time when I could be in the mix and compete like what you guys doing now, So for me, it's a legacy. Like, hey, my life worked out okay, so I'm not complaining, But that was one of those things that I wish I could have been in that mix, right? I mean, all them crippled categories like master division, all that wheelchairs.
Is this your chair you're rolling up there to go compete?
When I go to the chiropractor and they ask me,
Air wheelchair.
I just hop out, right? And then when I go to the chiropractor and they ask me like, Marco, when it hurts, I just circle the whole everywhere, So I kind of miss that thing, but to me it's a legacy, and I'm happy because this is an incredible group of people. The community is incredible, and I feel like the team, the organizers, Brandon, Keelan, and Heather. I mean, it's really fun, and this is the right team. This is the right team to do this, you know. So I'm really hopeful that we are going to make massive impact in this.
I think you are. I think it's the right team. I think it's the right time. And I think that somewhere out there, it's just quite possible that there's a little kid who might be the one who comes up in 10 years, 15 years from now, and we go like, this guy is the best we've ever seen. That guy might be out there right now, which is pretty impressive.
That's 100% actually.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You guys are doing an outstanding job. I'm grateful to be a part of it. PGF Season 6 coming up April 21st. First day of the draft is taking place right here in this castle. Everyone in this room will be here. We can't wait. Make sure you check it out. Guys, thank you. It's a great night. Appreciate you, Ben. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Brandon McCaghren. I'm Tim Freeman. We'll see you soon.